Hi, my name is Polly. I will be your crisis professional speaking with you today. What's your name?
Gloria.
Hi, Gloria. It's nice to meet you.
Hi.
I'm glad you came today. Why don't you tell me a little bit about why you're here?
Well, because I'm having a little bit of a problem with dealing with my emotions because of my husband's drinking, and I feel like I might be having a little bit of a nervous breakdown because he drinks every day. He drinks real, you know, heavy every day. He has about 15 beers a day, and he fell a couple days ago, and he hit his head on a knob on the kitchen drawer,
Mm-hmm.
and he was flat on his face on the floor, and I tried to roll him over, and he wasn't. And I thought he was dead because he wasn't moving. And I was just really freaking out, and I didn't know what to do. So I called 911, and they came, and well, it turned out he had a gash on his forehead pretty bad, but he refused to go to the emergency room. But anyway, his drinking is just. I'm at the point where I don't know how to cope with his drinking anymore because I just feel like there's not an end to it, and it just makes me feel like I don't. I can't cope anymore. I have anxiety and worry and stress.
Okay. So it sounds like your husband's doing some heavy drinking pretty heavily on a daily basis.
Yes.
He fell and hit his head, hurt himself pretty badly, and let me just say that you did the right thing by calling 911. Congratulations for doing that. Um, it sounds like you're also feeling like you just really don't have a way out right now.
No. No, I don't know because I live in such a small community. It's hard because I mean I have thought about going to AA, but I have never been there because well, it's just hard because it's a small community, and I probably would have to drive 35 miles to go to an AA meeting.
Okay. Well, let me just tell you that your feelings are normal, that there is hope out there, and things will get better. We can definitely look into some different resources for you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your current coping strategies? What are you doing currently to
I'm
deal?
enabling him because I don't want him to drive, so I buy the beer for him. And I know that's wrong, but it feels like I feel like there's no way out of this situation, so I end up enabling him.
Well, it may feel to you right now like there is no way out, but let me tell you that there is. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You just may not see it right now. Um, I know it's probably tough for you to feel like you're enabling him. Have you ever thought of trying to work on maybe some different kind of coping strategies? Have you had a conversation at all with your husband about his drinking? How have you let him know kind of how you feel about the situation?
Yeah, but he doesn't. He's a typical alcoholic where they just don't like to hear anything negative about their drinking. So it's really hard for me to even bring the subject up because he ends up getting real defensive about his drinking. And
Okay, so you're definitely not having an easy time talking to him
no,
about it. Okay. Well, in 2014, 16.3 million adults suffered with alcohol use disorder. So you're definitely not the only woman married to somebody who's suffering, with an alcohol use disorder. Um, would you like to maybe work on some other ways that we can try to help you come up with to cope with the situation a little bit better?
well, I would, Yeah, I think that would probably be helpful, but if I can carry through with them, the coping strategies, that's another thing because it's very hard to deal with an alcoholic and you just don't know what to do sometimes
I
or how to feel.
understand. I understand. You know, you may not have the power to control your husband's drinking, but you definitely have the power, and it's your choice on how you want to deal with it to make yourself better and to get yourself out of the situation. Have you possibly thought about attending Al-Anon meetings?
I
Have you ever
have,
heard of Al-Anon?
yes. In fact, I even have looked for meetings, and it's hard because, like I said, it's a small community I live in, and I think the closest one is 35 miles away, which I have to drive to. But I suppose, yeah, I have been thinking about it. I know it would help me. I just haven't done it.
Okay, so you have looked into Al-Anon meetings as well
Yes.
as AA meetings,
Mm,
or just Al-Anon?
well,
I know. I heard you say earlier that you had looked into some AA meetings. Was that for your husband?
yeah, yes,
Okay, all right. But you were looking into Al-Anon meetings for yourself. Is that correct?
yes,
They're just a little bit too far and few and far between.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That, yeah, it's really hard where I live because I live in the country out in the middle of kind of, well, in between 15 miles from one town and 35 from another, so
Okay, so you're kind of secluded where you live.
yes.
Could you tell me a little bit about any family support that you have?
I don't have any family support because of well, I mean, I can call my daughter, but she lives, far away, and I don't really have anybody I can talk to.
Okay, but you do call your daughter sometimes?
Yeah,
Is she pretty supportive? Is she
yes,
willing to talk to you about it and
yep, yes,
help you through some of your feelings at the time?
yes.
Okay. And does he have any family in the area?
No, his family lives a couple 100 miles away.
Okay. So are they supportive of him at all, or?
No, I don't get his family involved, and his kids are from a previous marriage, and they tend to make things worse, so I haven't. I mean, I used to call them, but then it kind of would make the situation kind of worse, and then they, because sometimes family just makes things worse.
I'm sorry to hear that. So what do you think are some other coping strategies that you could try to come up with? Maybe such as deep breathing exercises when you're feeling a bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
Is that something that you would maybe be interested in doing?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Um, the Al-Anon meetings, even though they may seem kind of far away, you can definitely there to gain a support system of other people who are in your situation who can kind of, help guide you and help support you in a better way than maybe other people who aren't experiencing the same situation can. Um, I can definitely help look into finding some of those meetings for
Okay.
you. Would you be interested in maybe seeing a counselor, maybe one-on-one, if the Al-Anon meetings aren't really going to be a huge option for you?
Well, I would if my insurance paid for it, but I'm not sure my insurance would. I would have to find out if my insurance paid for it.
Okay. Well, maybe that's definitely something then that you could look into just as an option. Um, what about going for walks? Do you enjoy walking?
Um, No, because walking hurts my back.
Okay, so you have some back problems. What about work? Are you working at all currently?
Yes.
Okay. And how often do you work?
Well, in the summertime I work 6 days a week to make up for the lack of work in the winter time because it's seasonal work. So I do like to work. Keeps my mind occupied. And I just like to work. It's
Well, that's great, Gloria. So that also sounds like that could possibly maybe be another thing that you can do to kind of get away from the house, get away from the situation for a while, take your mind off of things, and go to work and be in a more positive environment.
well, I know I shouldn't be buying him the beer either, but I buy it because I don't want because he's already had 3 DUIs, and I don't want to buy him driving and risk trying to if the possibility of him getting another DUI. So I buy the beer for him, and I don't like that, but it makes me uncomfortable. But I do it.
Okay, so you're buying the beer for him. Are you buying beer for him on a daily basis?
Well, about a 30 pack every 2 days. So
Okay, and he's drinking that 30 pack within the 2 day period?
yes.
Okay, what would happen if you didn't buy him the beer?
Well, he'd just go get it himself.
So you feel that if you don't buy it for him, he'll get in the car and he'll drive and possibly risk the chance of getting another DUI. Is that what you're saying? Am I correct there?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I would want that to happen because that would be a real disaster.
Okay, so I'm sensing maybe a little bit of fear.
Yes.
Okay. Another possible idea, and you can let me know how you feel about this, would be to possibly get yourself out of the situation.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. So I know a lot of women leave their husbands because of well, a lot of different problems, but alcohol is a big factor in divorces.
Okay, so you have thought about that as an
Yes.
option. Besides the drinking, is there anything else going on in your home that concerns you?
No, just the drinking. I mean, when he's not drinking, he's you know a very nice person, but when he's drinking beer, he gets kind of emotionally abusive. He doesn't get physically abusive, but he gets emotionally abusive. So.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that he may get a little verbally abusive sometimes, and it hurts your feelings.
Yes, he does.
How do you deal with that?
I don't. That's what creates more anxiety with me is not knowing how to deal with it.
Okay, so that definitely plays a part in the anxiety as well. Okay. Okay, and definitely then, in that situation, is there somewhere safe in your house that you can go to be alone?
Well, I go in the bedroom and I watch TV, and we both have our own TVs because he watches different programs than I do. So I go in the bedroom and hope that when he's that drunk, he'll fall asleep and kind of sleep it off. And I have to keep an ear out for him in case he falls because he's fell a couple times.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm glad to know that you have a safe place in your house that you can go and kind of be away from the situation. And then once maybe you can get in your bedroom, like we talked about, working on some of those deep breathing exercises, possibly phoning your daughter. I'd like to make a couple referrals for you. I'd also like to see you again in a couple of weeks. Could we set up an appointment for 2 weeks from today
okay,
around the same time?
okay,
Okay. And then I'd also like to refer you to Al-Anon meetings and to possibly seeing maybe a mental health specialist. So
okay.
in the next couple of weeks, why don't you work on those new coping strategies that we talked about, trying to deal with some of that that anxiety and some of that stress that you're feeling. And then in a couple weeks, I will have some referrals for you for a couple mental health counselors and possibly some Al-Anon meetings in the area.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Sure.
Okay, Gloria. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming today.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
It made me feel a little better.
I'm
about
glad to hear that.
everything.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay.